right, guys, so Week 10 games are in the books. Wanted to give you the updated top 25 for me, what I think the top 25 teams are after the Week 10 games yesterday were played. A couple on Friday night, but the vast majority of the games were yesterday. Great games yesterday. I was privileged to be at the Georgia-Tennessee game, so I apologize if the voice is not doing great today. I was heavily yelling for most of the day. But the top 25, so let's just dive right in. At 25, I've got Notre Dame coming off that big win over an undefeated Clemson team. I was never really high on Clemson. I had to give them the respect of being the undefeated team. And when the playoff rankings came out, people were a little confused at why they were at 4. But as it stood, Notre Dame took down the number 4 team in the country yesterday at home with a pretty decisive 35-14 victory. So throw them in the top 25. At 24, I've got Cincinnati. 23 is Washington. 22, I've got Kansas State with that loss yesterday. 21 is going to be the University of Central Florida, UCF. 20, Liberty coming off the big win at Arkansas. Sam Pittman's team did not do enough to take care of Liberty. At 19, I've got Texas. 18, I've got Tulane. The Green Wave still only have one loss on the season. 17, Illinois, who took a loss, which kind of shakes up the Big Ten West yesterday. At 16, I've got NC State. 15, UNC, the Tar Heels. 14, Penn State. At 13, I've got Clemson. I dropped them pretty far. Again, I've not been high on that team. They've not looked really good all season. And Notre Dame exposed that yesterday, so I've dropped them heavily. At 12, I've got Ole Miss, same as last week. 11, I've got UCLA. 10, I've got Utah, and I understand that they do have the win over USC, but USC is a better team today than they were the day that they lost to Utah. At 9, I've got Alabama, who lost at the last second overtime 2-point conversion that Brian Kelly decided to go for. So Bama goes down for a second regular season loss, and that hasn't happened before the Iron Bowl since 2010. So it's been 12 years since Alabama took 2 regular season losses before the Iron Bowl. So we've got them at 9. At 8, LSU, I moved them up a lot. This is not the same team that started the season. They are more cohesive. I love Daniels coming out of Arizona State. And special things happen at Death Valley at night. So LSU is looking pretty good right now. If it were to shake out, it would look like LSU would meet Georgia in Atlanta for the SEC championship. Again, games have to be played. As we know, college football is crazy, but as it shakes out, that seems to be the matchup coming into Atlanta. At 7, I've got USC, Southern Cal. I still think that team can put up a bunch of points. That Utah loss does hurt them. I'm still a little suspect of their defense, but with Caleb Williams, they're never out of a game. At 6, I've got Tennessee, who looked pedestrian for the first time all season yesterday. Went into Athens. Everybody was the trending pick. Tennessee's back. Tennessee's this. I mean, that offense is very good. So I'm not taking anything away from that. Georgia put together a great plan and held Hendon Hooker to his lowest points, his lowest yardage, his lowest percentage of completions, the lowest third down, everything under Heupel. Georgia went in with a great plan, a little beat up on defense, and still absolutely did well. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, it was raining. It was not raining in the first half. I was there. It did not rain in the first half. And they went into the half with 6 points. They didn't have a touchdown. So don't tell me it was the rain. It was not. The defense at Georgia just showed up, and they put together a great plan, and it worked. At 5, I've got Oregon coming off that Week 1 loss to Georgia in Atlanta. They have been hell on wheels. I think Oregon and USC is going to be the Pac-12 championship game, and that's going to be a heck of a game there. And I think the winner of that one, if they both go in there with their records with one loss, they're in the playoff. At 4, I've got TCU. They came from behind again yesterday, but this team wins. That's what happens. TCU figures out a way to win ball games, and that's what matters in college football is the win column. So they just have a moxie about them that they do well. So right now I've got them in the top 4. I don't think that one loss really hurts them that much. No, I'm sorry. They're undefeated. Apologies. An undefeated TCU team. They do play from behind a lot. But yeah, they're in the top 4. They're an undefeated team. There's 4 undefeated teams, and those are my top 4. At 3, I've got Michigan. Took care of business yesterday. At 2, I've got Ohio State, who won an ugly game, but it was very difficult. C.J. Stroud only completed 10 passes on the day, but the wind was at like 30 miles an hour. It was crazy. So it was a 7-7 game at the half with a 1-7 Northwestern team. You would expect them to be able to run the ball better, but they didn't. They did in the second half. They made the adjustments for the weather. And then at 1, I've got Georgia. They take out Tennessee, who came out as 1 in the initial college football playoff rankings, and they took it to them. The 27-13 score was not very indicative of that game. Georgia manhandled Tennessee yesterday. They were physical on the line. They attacked the offense, and Hendon Hooker was sacked 6 times, hurried up a lot. The environment definitely helped. There were 7 or 8 false start penalties on Tennessee, so Sanford obviously was loud and can affect the game. So the pundits didn't think so. A lot of people were tweeting at us that no, Sanford's not loud, Georgia's not that place. Between the hedges isn't that intimidating. Well, we proved yesterday that it is. So that's your top 4 this week. It's going to be Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. Now it's a little bit clearer for Georgia. At this point, I do think they go with a 12-0 season and go into Atlanta. Ohio State and Michigan still have to play, but if I were to take a gander at the end of the year, top 4, it would be the winner of Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, TCU, and the winner of Oregon and Utah. Those are going to be the 4 teams in the playoff, if I were to call it right now. So there you go, guys. Your top 4, UGA, OSU, Michigan, and the Horned Frogs of TCU. We'll see what happens next week. As always, I love watching college football. Hopefully you do too. If you like this kind of content, smash that subscribe button, and I can come out with some more videos previewing games, stuff like that. I love analyzing any of the college football games that come up. If you like this, please smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you like this. Leave a comment below if you agree, if you disagree. Let me know what's up. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. So, all right, guys, that's it for me. We will see you next week, Fam Jam. I'm out.